Hey, it is time to start working on a new record. And so I decided that I want to sort of document that process. I thought about at the end of Anadonia, like right at the end, I thought, oh, I should film all this for posterity. But then by that point, I had done all the stuff. So this time I'm going to try and get it going from the ground up, from the very beginning, and sort of document stuff. That said, I've tried to do YouTube in the past, and it just takes too much time. Like high production value videos, like with editing and lighting and multiple camera angles, it's too much. I don't have time for that, and I don't enjoy it. I do not. I don't enjoy doing video editing. So this is going to be very raw. Just as I'm working, I'm just going to record videos and upload them, and that's it. So it's going to be sort of unfiltered. Just pick up my phone, say where I'm at, show what I'm doing, and just do that like whenever, at least every day, probably. So yeah, that's going to be sort of the format. And as far as sort of where I'm at in the process, I just started. And what that means is practice. So I'm out of shape. Anadonia came out like a year and a half ago. Haven't really played music except for like little one-off things. So what I've been doing the past couple days is just scales. Just sitting at the piano and playing scales, playing chords, and singing scales, and that's it. The other thing I've been doing is getting the studio set up. And I will do a separate video later on that, how it's sort of set up and what equipment I've got and how it's working together. So that's where I'm at. The other thing I've been doing is a lot of music analysis. A big part of the creative process for me is going over other people's music and just building a palette and a toolbox in my head of like what techniques are available to me, what have other people done. And the reason I do that is it's really easy for artists to fall into a groove and to just sort of do what you've done before and what works. And I don't like that. I try to avoid that to the best of my ability. And a way that I've found is very successful for avoiding that is to, with a really critical ear, go over music that you enjoy. And I'm saying you sit down with a notebook and you listen to the song 20 times and you tease out how many times are they playing this part, how many times are they playing that part. You sit down with a piano and you say, what's the chord progression, where, what interesting things are they doing, and you start to build up this sort of palette in your head so that when you're sitting down to write, you're not just banging out the same stuff you've banged out a million times before. So that music analysis, it could sound like, oh, you're copying people, but it's actually the exact opposite. If you don't sort of invest that time in building up a surplus of technique ideas, you'll end up just copying yourself. So anyway, that's where my time has been: practice and basic studio setup. So going forward, what are my plans right now for the record? Plans change when it comes to music. So we will see. But right now, my plan is to produce the largest record I've ever worked on. I have a bit of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity right now, which is I don't have a job. I am able to work on music full-time right now. Now, of course, my music isn't self-supporting. I think Anadonia cost between promotion and record production and equipment, it might have cost $8,000 or more, and I think I sold 3 copies or 4. So I'm not going to make any money from music to support myself, but I basically bought myself 2 years of freedom. Instead of being a normal human being and buying a big house and a nice car and taking trips and doing all the things you're supposed to do, I've just been hoarding money so that I can quit my job. And that's what I'm doing right now. Is I have basically 2 years to just be a real human being for the first time in my life. So that's what I'm doing. And so I want to take that time to do the biggest album I could do. There used to be a time where musicians used to put out big records, right? The Wall, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, The Fragile. But people don't do that anymore. And I have never had the opportunity to do something like that because when you're working on music nights and weekends, you have to keep your eyes low. You don't get to dream big. You get to say, like, what can I pull off in 8 hours a week, right? And so, my records have typically been like 7, 8 songs long. But I can actually work on this for 50 or 60 hours a week. And so I think I can do something much bigger and much more intricate and much more interesting. That said, there will be things I can't do. There will be no vinyl for whatever this new record is. I simply would not be able to afford it. And considering I have a closet full of records that I'm never going to sell, I'm definitely not going to make that mistake again. The one that hurts more is mastering. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford mastering this time around, and I've always been a huge advocate of mastering. I think it's extremely important. So we'll see. I'm not going to count it out now, this early in the process, but I don't think I can really afford to spend any money on this record because I'm spending money to live. So we'll see. We'll see. At very least, I can use Lander, which I think actually does a fairly decent job. It is just a preset, but I can master the record for $20 or whatever. So we'll see. I would prefer to use a real mastering engineer. Anyway, I'm getting off into the weeds. The important part is a bigger record, a more intricate record, a more grandiose record, and documenting the process on here. So that's it for this video. I'm going to post every day or whatever, maybe more early on while I'm getting the process going. So that's that. We will see what we end up with over the course of the next year.